think your volume. I don't hear your volume, Kendrick.
Okay. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, thanks. You're working, brother.
Yeah. Awesome. I have no idea what went wrong there.
Technology.
I'm telling you. 1 minute, because it's been on all this time, and now suddenly it decided, no, I don't like Kendrick's voice. Let's cut him out straight. Let's cut him out straight away. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it's good to be on here. Good to see you, sir. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for you are watching the replay of this, because currently you are not live. So which means if you are listening to my voice right now, it means you are playing this afterwards. All right. So thank you so much for coming on. It's good to have you. And it is Wednesday, and this is when we come on and we sharpen one another to make sure that we get better, to make sure that we don't get outdated, because this this is a time where everything is moving so fast. If we don't keep ourselves sharp, then it's like, Kendrick, you're a dinosaur. What's going on? But yeah, I'm excited this evening because we are going to continue our conversation. And and these conversations are always sharpening us. It's designed to make us to get better. And I'm not sure yet. Do you know if anybody else is joining us, sir?
Yeah, I'm not sure entirely.
Not sure. Okay, all right. No,
But
it's all good.
it might be someone joining. It's always a surprise.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, but as you know, we've been talking about habits over the past few weeks, and we kind of like want to continue on that. And I'm so convinced that this is something that we need to stay on, at least for the next. I know until we exhaust, until we kind of like squeeze it dry. Um, so, have you been enjoying the sessions on habits? Anything that has been kind of like standing out to
Yeah,
you?
yeah, definitely. I think uh, what I quite liked was what was discussed about making a start and not waiting,
Yeah,
because we can often postpone things when we think the time is going to be right in the future
yeah,
or in the
yeah.
distance. And also the other thing that habits should become sort of natural as well. And if it's a good habit, it's a good idea to keep that habit.
Yeah, yeah,
But you have to get to a point where it's done subconsciously and it adds value,
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
and you don't
Well,
have to think too much about it.
that's it. And I think that's the key, isn't it? That's the key because um, I know what came up last week was looking at habits and looking at discipline, because we know that we're looking to go somewhere and we're looking to achieve something in our lives. But now most of the time, or in general, would say you got to be disciplined. You have to make sure that you do something not based on your feelings, and if you need to get up, you get up because you are disciplined, you are going somewhere. That kind of thinking. And we kind of like weight that up against a habit, because with a habit it's just kind of like things just happen like automatically, because you are at a place where you don't have to think. It's like driving a car, isn't it? Like that's what we were saying. It's
Yeah,
like driving a car, it's like driving a bicycle, it's like eating, it's like what your morning routine, your evening routine is things that just happen subconsciously. You don't have, maybe um before you got into a specific habit, you required some discipline. So what we were saying last time was, um, discipline will make it easier for us to get to where we want to go. Why? Because it's not going to be so hard on the flesh, because now you're doing something because out of habit, and it's good habits. But where does discipline come in now is like for you and I to create good habits, it will require some serious discipline at the beginning, because we're not going to feel like doing it. But if we apply discipline, then eventually this thing is going to become a habit. And it's like, yeah, I just get up every morning at 4 o'clock to go for a run. There's no big deal. What's your problem? kind, kind of thing,
yeah,
isn't it? It's like Mr. Jordan, how you do that? I don't know. It's just a habit. And that's the kind of thing where we want to get to. um, and I think something else that we were also touching on was, at the beginning, it's not going to be easy, isn't it? Because when you think about it, usually when we talk about habits, the first thing that comes to mind is bad habits. We're thinking, oh, bad habits. But no, we have the power to create good habits and bad habits. And usually bad habits are just created by default, isn't it? It's like you just fall into it.
yeah,
Because you've
yeah.
been doing something for so long. It's like, why do you chew like that, bro? I don't know. I just chew like that. That's how I eat. It's a habit, but it's a bad habit. Break it. So it's kind of like that kind of thing. And we also spoke about it's good for us to create habits in every area of our lives, whether it's habits within our thinking, with habits with regarding our finances, good habits
Yeah.
regarding our family, how we deal with our body, and in every area, we need to create great habits. um, and our habits where we are right now is a result of our habits, and we have to make sure that we are clear on the importance of creating great habits. Now, today, uh, what I really want us to kind of like get into is, um, if you think about it. Okay, just give me 1 second. I just want to make sure. For some reason, there's a feedback on my side. Are you hearing me okay, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Good, my side.
Let me just hear how it sounds out there, because for some reason, um, I'm getting a feedback. Gentlemen, we are waiting for you. Where are you?
Yeah, no, the audio is clear my side.
Audio clear. Yeah, let me
Yeah.
just check it quickly. Um, you're on my side. 1 second. All right. Okay. All right. So the idea is today we are going to continue to talk about. All right. So the idea is today. Okay. No, it's sounding
Yeah.
fine out there. All right.
Sounding
That's
good. Yeah.
Yeah, sounding brilliant. All right. So today, what we are going to do, we are going to talk about habits, um, creating great habits with the end in mind. Creating great habits with the end in mind. Now, um, I'm not. I don't know about you, but usually when I can see you
Yeah.
smiling.
I think I
What are you
think there
thinking?
should be no end in mind when it
Sorry.
comes to habits.
Again. Say again.
There should be no end in mind when it comes to habits.
All
As
right.
long as
Okay. Go.
yeah,
Go.
as long
Go.
as they're good habits, as
Yeah.
long as they're good habits. But I do agree. There's some that you might have to drop and
Okay.
put an end to. But
Okay.
like with anything, with our breathing, our habits, it becomes part of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's a physical end to it, but we always aspire to end in mind, which means to me that means improving on the current habits you have and the good ones.
Okay. Okay.
Comes back to goals, setting goals, and I guess using small regular rewards for the habits that you have, because you're getting something back.
Okay.
And I guess that helps with you enjoying your habits going forward if it's
Mm-hmm.
good for you. But I think the end in mind is, how do you improve on that habit? How do you make it better? How do you make it um, subconsciously, um, doing it without thinking too much? Because I think with everything, if you don't think too much, you enjoy it more. Like if you're laughing, you're not thinking
Yeah.
how you laugh.
Yeah.
You're just having fun and having a laugh,
Yeah.
and the enjoyment out of laugh. So if you there's a friend of ours, you know, Ryan. I don't know if you know Ryan, but good friend of mine, and he always laughs at the things that are really funny for him. He doesn't care about you.
Okay. I love that. That's good. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
before you can laugh, he's already laughing and he's explaining or telling the joke. But
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
knows
Yeah.
what the punchline is, and he's having a good time. He's not waiting on people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that's such a good habit, because he's not thinking too much and he's getting the
Mm.
enjoyment out of it. And it's contagious, because if he laughs, you want to laugh with him.
Mm.
So
Yeah. I love that. So he already knows the end of the joke, isn't it? So it's like, all right, I'm gonna make sure I'm already laughing now because I know how this joke is going. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. I love that. But let me bring a bit of clarity. What I mean by creating habits with the end with the end in mind, because um, I believe when we're talking about habits, um, we we don't just create good habits for the sake of, I just want to have a good habit of, getting up early, or knowing how to treat my wife, or knowing how to speak to my kids, or knowing how to deal with my finances, or knowing how to treat my body. I don't just create those habits just out of because I feel like it. But when I'm saying that we are creating good habits with the end in mind, we have to kind of like finish what we're looking to start and then come back and start it. Yeah. So which means if I am clear on where it is that I'm looking to go within my relationships. Say for example, within my relationship with my wife, or in the relationship with my kids. So which means I need to have the end in mind, meaning I want to I want I must have a clear picture in what does a perfect husband look like. I don't know whether you get a perfect husband, but just for just for the sake of conversation, I think what you and I need to be clear on: what does a perfect father look like? What does a perfect husband look like? And then so go there, and then I need to come back, because now I will have a clear picture, and I know what kind of habits that person that I'm looking to become. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense what I'm saying. So
Yes, absolutely,
so so
absolutely.
so when I'm saying having the end in mind, I'm not actually talking about the end of exercising a specific habit, but it's rather the end in mind, as in where I'm looking to go. Because and then I have to, like, I think you're an engineer, you call it back engineering, or reverse engineering. Am I
Reverse
right?
engineering, yeah.
Reverse engineering, back engineering. What in the world? It's reverse engineering, and I think you will be able to speak perfectly into that, because once we understand exactly what the end product is going to look like, then I know already, okay, the reason why I want to be healthy, because 40 years from now, I want to play with my children's children, and I don't want to be kind of like, you know no, you want to be strong, you want to be able to breathe properly when you're just walking up the road, whatever the case might be. But if you are clear on what you want it to look like, then when I create that habit, even when I grow weary, I can always go back to, all right, this is what we're working on, stay on it. Yeah. So I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that? I just wanted to clarify on that, because I think you were coming from a different angle with when I said
Yeah.
having
No, I
having
was I was just prompting a bit of thought there,
yes,
because
sir.
I like a bit of controversy, but it ends up with us just thinking, because sometimes interpretations can be different.
That's right.
Um, so I think that just came to mind, and I thought I'll say that. But I
Yeah.
think we end up with excellence, isn't it? If we want a habit, we want excellence at the end of the day
Mm,
for
mm,
that purpose.
yeah.
And then it's linked to our routine.
Mm,
And if we know what we want, like you say, with the end in mind, we strive for that through excellence and routine, so
yeah.
that it becomes easier
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess with everything we do, you first think about it and then you act. Your brain first processes any action. And even if it's for a split second, if it's a habit or routine, you would know what the intention is
Yeah.
of, even before you act, what is going through your thought processes for that habit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, we I think we struggle sometimes when we realize we we tell the kids to brush their teeth as a habit, and that's a good habit. Let's face it. You neglect
Yeah.
your teeth, brother, you're going to end up in the dentist chair.
Yeah, that's it.
That's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's a good habit not to forget. Um, but very often the kids, they forget and they need reminding.
Mm.
But when you remind them, you're actually reminding yourself as well, because
Yeah,
you tuck them in and you last to go to bed, and sometimes you forget to brush your teeth.
that's it. That's it.
And I know the the parents don't want to admit to that, but yeah, we also end up in the dentist chair
Mm. Mm.
from time to time,
Yeah.
because we're not fully committed to that habit, and it slips our mind, and it's not always intentional. So um, I think if you're a dentist, it would be a shame if you didn't look after your teeth.
Yeah. The
Because
now the dentist with rotten teeth.
yeah, you wouldn't feel comfortable, because you'd think, yeah, you seeing other people's teeth and advising, um, but you're not looking after your own. And so, what sort of habits
That's right.
are you introducing?
Yeah.
So I think that's a typical example of a good habit that can have a very good result. You having a good smile and healthy teeth in 20,
Mm.
30 years time, when most people have dentures.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
um, but I think the routine and the excellence, um, if you're in a hurry, you just do your teeth quickly, but sometimes you actually concentrate. You notice you want to clean it properly. Let's say you go on the date with a wife, or you got special occasion, or you speaking up front. You take your time and you groom, and you know,
That's it. Yes, sir.
and but it's all related to the habit,
Mm.
and having the routine going. And I guess it makes it stick as well, because I believe if you do it often enough, regularly,
Mhm.
uh, and talking about the teeth again, I like to clean in the morning and in the evening.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just quick, but even that quick brush
It
twice a
helps.
day,
Yes, sir.
uh, for me psychologically feels better than having
Yeah, I love this example.
than having
In
one
fact,
long brush, yeah, and you only do it once a day. I
yeah,
just feel better that I've done my bit. The
yeah,
habit is, yeah, I've ticked it off.
that's right. That's an amazing example, because if you really think about it, um, when we let me go back to the first point that you've made, where sometimes we would tell our kids to do something, and try to get them to get into the habit of brushing their teeth. But then we look sometimes, like what you're saying, us as adults, and sometimes we miss a couple of evenings and mornings, bro. It's like it's not happening. And I think just kind of like using that scenario, even for as a good lesson in life, because uh, it's kind of like I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, but hypocritical. I don't
Yeah,
know, but yeah, for me, for example, to say this is what I would like to teach, or this is what I would like to talk about, even though it's still lacking in my own life. Yeah. So, which means it's actually good for us to create, because sometimes we are passionate about something. Now, we're not talking about being perfect and being at a place where everything is like on point, because we are always a work in progress. But I think even before we get to a place where we want to address certain things, where we think, as men, we should be excellent in, we should always strive to work in those areas ourselves, because that's why it's kind of like, um, I think that's where the challenge kind of like lies, isn't it? It's like, uh, how can I even dare to talk about something if I'm struggling with something specific? So that's why it's good for us to even identify, all right, where am I lacking? you know so how can I come on here and I say, all right, gentlemen, 5 days a week, you gotta go to the gym. All right, look at these guns. Look at these guns. If you want guns like this, and then you look like that. There's nothing there, and it's like, but Henrik, how can you even talk about guns? You, you, you see, so it's like it's good for us to make sure that, all right, work on areas that that before we can even address certain things. And I think that's kind of like, because sometimes we feel like we don't qualify, we are not qualified to talk about certain things. And that's why it's good for all of us to come on here, with different gifts, with different experiences, different talents, different perspectives,
Yeah.
different attitudes, different characters, and just put it out there, and kind of like, help one another grow. Because the truth of the matter is, oh, it's impossible for one person to have it all together, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
impossible for one person to have it all together. Now, coming back to just coming back to kind of like what we're looking to focus on this evening. Um, looking at starting, having the end in mind when we looking to create habits. I believe it's a great way to go about developing habits, because even if you look at it in this way, um, if you're looking to create to build a house, let's go where you are, sir, because I know that obviously you are an engineer. You kind of like, even if you look at building a house, I can't just get up tomorrow morning and say, all right, I'm good to go. Where are the bricks? Where are the cement? Where are the guys? Let them come and dig. No. Are we going to end up with something that looks like it comes from Timbuktu, or it's not going to look presentable. We have to feel it first. And that brings us back to the concept that everything we see right now, even it doesn't matter where we look, wherever we see things right now, it's been created twice. It's first been created in somebody's mind. It's first been created in somebody's imagination. Somebody has thought about something first before
Yeah.
it manifested in the physical realm. That's why it's important for us to just look at that example, because building a house, you got to understand, okay, what I wanted to. I mean, you talk into that. I mean, you're the engineer, sir. What would be kind of like the things that you look at? Um,
Yeah, I think what with that is very simple. Is you need to think about how you're going to plan what you
mhm,
want. So when we speak to clients, um, I don't know if you can relate to this. Sometimes our clients don't know what they want. They know somehow what they want, but they don't have a clue. It's only when they speak to people with a vision or who's done it before, they get teased as to asking the right questions, and then they get feedback, and then they realize, oh, that's actually what I want. So I guess when you work with architects, that's the architect's job, is to find out exactly what the client wants by showing them either with a model, uh, or something visual, a sketch. Otherwise, just talking about it, you can never describe it if you don't have the skills or the expertise. So
mm,
it's a
mm,
process, and then that process needs some planning. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And then
that's
the
it.
other thing with a house is, no matter how good this house is built, if the foundation isn't designed to uphold the house,
Mm,
then the house won't stand in 20, 30, 40 years' time. So a lot goes around planning. And then I think, I guess, good habits about asking the right questions based on experience. But you got the end in mind, which is this house needs to be built by a certain date because the family wants to move in 2 years or something like that. So everything results in a bit of planning and an end date, and then a process, and then the step-by-step agreement of, okay, we've decided what we're going to build. Let's go ahead and do the rest of the work. But there's lots of forethought and then some good habits that help.
Let me just pick up on something that you just mentioned. You mentioned that because it's possible for us to create or kind of like what's the word? You know, when you were talking about foundations,
Yeah,
it's like you can have all the other things. You can just kind of like start building and start kind of like put everything in place. But if the foundation is not solid, if the foundation is not right, we will run into trouble. The trouble might not show up straight away, but you're looking a few years down the line, you were wondering, okay, why is this wall wobbly? Why is the house hanging, you know, on the one side? And I think that's exactly what can happen with us creating habits out of sync. Okay.
yeah,
You got to help me now here, because I think this
yeah,
is just a thought that just dropped in me, because I think if we need to first understand what habits are foundational. Yeah. I believe there are certain habits that we need to be clear on. You know, you can have a great habit of I don't know, just a habit of brushing your teeth. That's not a foundational habit. You know, you can still be successful, you know, with crooked kind of like teeth. You know, that's the kind of like a silly example,
yeah.
but it's a habit. But I won't say that's a foundational habit. So we need to actually, what we need to, the place where we need to start is ask ourselves, all right, gents, what habits are foundational?
Yeah, I think there's something I want to throw in there when it
Yes, sir.
comes to a house or a building. Now, we hear this all the time. We have to have our foundation right. But you must have noticed in the UK where it rains a lot and it's always wet and the ground is saturated with water. The water table is often high, so you have flooding. And then you go like where I grew up in a dry climate, you don't have that problem necessarily. So we also have to have a habit where we investigate the soil we want to build on. And then we have a habit of doing a geotechnical investigation.
Yeah.
And then based on the results of how the soil behaves under load and in water, we can then design the foundation properly. And there's various types of foundations. So
Yeah.
the most common one for big heavy buildings is to design a pile that takes the load. So it's just a column like a straw that takes the load from the top down to some bedrock where it's much solid, maybe 20, 30 meters down.
Okay.
And then the foundation is still built on top of that. That takes the load of the walls. But the weight is transferred all the way down to much, much more solid rock and solid ground. And it goes through that unsuitable soft soil. So we call it bedrock or something that's really solid. So I would think good habit is something that's got that bedrock. Even before you think of your foundation habits. So if it's founded on something solid that's immovable, we get the best result. But we have to have the end in mind, which is we won't want this building to fall down.
Yeah. That's it.
And I'm always amazed at different cities around the world when we look at the Eiffel Tower, the Burj Khalil in Saudi, or in Dubai, you think everyone's going higher, but nobody realizes they actually investigate how solid can they make it from a foundational point of view. Can we build that high based on the soil and all these other factors?
Wow.
And it's different in every continent. It's different challenges. Even wind can be a factor.
Yeah.
How do the design deal with wind load and changing wind patterns? So some countries have more success, some cities, others are not suitable. And it's not just about building the tallest, it's understanding whether it can be done. So the end is more important to investigate, can this be done before you even start spending money and making a start at building. But I think there's in our industry, there's habits we have to not overlook, otherwise there's huge consequences. And it's a routine, habits for excellence. But the end is always something that has to be compromised because there's limitations. And that's the things we investigate first. Yeah, so I think very solid good habits is key, and I guess we want to identify that in our lives.
Yeah, that's right. That's
because
right.
that will probably get us the best end in mind.
That's right. That's right.
And then there's other smaller habits, less important maybe, but also critical,
But also crucial. Yeah, absolutely.
that fit into that fundamental habit to have that end in mind, that result, that outcome.
Yeah. Kind of like, really like the way you put it, and the thing that kind of like come to mind when I'm thinking about, all right, so first of all, we are building something. Okay, what are we building? We are building a life. Yeah. You are building a future. You are leaving an inheritance. You are building something that will be a blessing to generations to come. Okay. Now the question that we most probably will need to ask ourselves is: so if we are building, we have to make sure that the foundation is solid. Yeah, not only of what you and I are building, but also for you as an individual, because that's what whatever it is that we are building. Say, for example, if you're building an organization, or if you're building a company, or you're building your family, or you're building your marriage, the let me just find the right word. The people involved, the people within that organization, they are the organization, isn't it? It's not the structure, or it's not the equipment. It's actually the people, because when you take the people out, it's kind of like something significant is missing. Yeah. So which means, if you look at, like, okay, I'm building a marriage. Yeah. So which means, who's the marriage? The marriage is me and my wife. We are the ones that need to be grounded. We are the ones that need to have a solid foundation. So it kind of like takes me back to character. I believe character is something, if we can kind of like define character and know that, all right, if I want to get into a habit of building great character, so the first, I think there's so many different ways. There's so many different ways to define character, but just to kind of like put it out there, it's integrity, isn't it? It's being becoming or being the real you, being authentic. It's authenticity. It's being able to be trusted. Character and integrity. It's all like, because when we're talking about having character, it's like who you are when nobody's watching. Who are you when you're alone, in the dark, in the corner? If nobody will ever find out, will you still do the right thing? That's character. And sometimes it's harder to do the right thing, especially when nobody's going to find out. If I can make a a quick buck under the, kind of like, nobody will find out this 500 quid. No, let me just, that kind of thing. So I believe that character is a good place to start. Asking myself, all right, what are the things that I can, I don't, it's like, no, I don't lie. I don't care how it makes me look. We don't lie, because at the end of the day, your lies will find you out. Um, you know and that takes great courage. That takes some kind of a, it's a solid foundation, because if everybody knows that, Kendrick will just say things as it is, he won't lie, he won't, he's not somebody that will manipulate situations to his own advantage, but he will always give somebody else the advantage. That kind of thing. We have to understand what are the things that you and I need to work on. What kind of, because those things can become habits, isn't it? Because sometimes you can just lie because it's a habit. There was no need to lie, but because it's a habit, like, but I was there. Well, why are you lying? Sorry, man, it's just a bad habit, bro. I didn't mean to lie.
Yeah, and I think
Yes,
like you said, to make the changes also, that
Yeah.
incremental changes
Mm-hmm.
in our habits that build our character
Mm.
is, I think, what every person goes through
Yeah. Yeah.
at different stages in your life and at different pace.
Yeah.
But it's continuous. It's ongoing.
Yeah.
For the improvements you have to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see habits as what you have to do routinely.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all have to get some sleep, right? Every
I
night.
know.
Otherwise, we don't function the next day.
Yeah. That's it.
So if you're in a habit to go sleep very late, by the time it gets to Friday, you're not functioning.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good habit to get enough sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you don't want to do a disservice to anyone, because you touched on leadership. You are your own leader,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and leadership requires integrity. There's no leadership without integrity, because you're
Yeah.
leading others.
Yeah.
But you first have to lead yourself before you lead your
Yeah.
kids and your family,
Mm-hmm.
and they will look up to you, obviously. So you have to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about when you talk about lying. Yes, let's say you want your kids to follow that. They will sometimes make their own choices, and sometimes the wrong one. But you keep doing the right thing, and they can over time realize, no, but lying doesn't really work, because you need another lie to cover up for that lie, and eventually it comes out. And there's just no solution when you start the first lie,
Yeah.
because it doesn't. You might get away with it once or twice, but there's a time when you think you get away and you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's far easier to create that environment where others can learn from you. So you have to work on yourself first, your character, your habits,
Mm. Mm.
and then allow that to filter through and not compromise, I guess. And
Yeah.
try your best. And if you don't have good habits, also to identify those
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
try and change them. Because I spoke to someone the other day and realized it's hard to change yourself, actually,
Yeah.
because of your habits.
Yeah.
But we have varied degrees of habits, smaller
Yeah.
habits that influence a bigger habit. So if you got the habit of drinking 5 cups of coffee before you go sleep, you,
Yes, sir.
you
Yes,
might
sir.
want to go sleep, but you can't fall asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
So changing the habit, okay, just have a small cup of coffee
Mm.
hour before you think you're going to go sleep, and then at least you have a better chance of sleeping.
Yeah.
So the one
Yeah.
habit feeds into the other one. So I guess we can make those small changes consciously and
Yeah.
build up the actual habit that we value, that's fundamental, that
Yeah.
foundational habit
Yeah. Yeah.
that has the end in mind, because that's the one that carries the most credibility, the most weight.
That's it. That's it. Um, you know what? Earlier you mentioned something about you want to go. People building high. Talking about construction. Building high structures, high tall buildings, skyscrapers, and so on. Um, and you mentioned something about winds and storms, because now bringing that now to life, isn't it? Because the importance of having a solid foundation, solid habits that will be able, it's like even if the storms of life start trying to hit you from all different kind of directions, the winds are coming, the hurricanes, whatever you want to call it, it's coming. You will be able to withstand it, because I think sometimes we so quick and we so much in a hurry to climb high. We want to reach, the top level in our relationships, in our career, in business, in our sphere of influence. We want to go up so quickly, but without keeping in mind that, listen here, if you up there are some strong winds blowing, and the thing is, if you because the higher you go, we think the easier it becomes. No, because just you walking funny, that thing make a statement. Just think about it. For those that are, for people that are famous, that are celebrities, just even the way they sit, just even the way they talk, everybody will make a fuss out of it. But for you, when you kind of like down here, in the low no go area, nobody is bothered. Now when you go up, and it's like everything counts. So we have to train ourselves. We have to make sure that the foundation that we're putting down, it has to be solid. We kind of like, every time when somebody is mentioning your name in a negative way, talking about you, you kind of like go off on a tangent. It's like, and and the whole world is just coming to an end. No, man, you gotta get used to that. That's a great habit to develop. Why is that? Because people always talk. And if I can't handle it where I am right now, how am I going to handle it when Jehovah decide to take me to higher places? No, I gotta learn to handle. I gotta learn to handle it right now. And that's why we gotta practice things like kindness, being courageous. We gotta practice things like an exercise, and build the habits of being bold, and uh, walking in love, and putting people first. These are the kind of things I believe. Maybe you believe something else, gentlemen, but I believe these are the kind of things that are foundational. Because at the end of the day, life is not so much about you and I. Yes, you are important, I'm important, because you remember now, even God says that we are the apple of his eye, and he's always keeping us close. But the reason why we live life, or why we should at least be aware of that, life is not, we shouldn't be self-centered. We shouldn't be self-centered. So if we are going to live a life that is do reverse engineering. I got it right this time. It's not back engineering, it's reverse engineering. It's reverse engineering. So if we're gonna travel, we go and finish it first, and then we come back, and then we start the thing. We will know that, Kendrick, where you're looking to go, you have to be patient, you have to be kind, you have to be rich, you got to be handsome. So look after yourself, don't look old. Because people just give you one look at, no, 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 he looks like he's tired all the time. Don't even consider him. So you got to look after yourself. You gotta brush that teeth, because when you smile, you gotta teeth because that's what reverse engineering does. You can see yourself already where you're going. So there are certain things that I need to know. I gotta make sure I take care of this. because for me to be able to walk out that life that I desire to get into, I gotta be first before I can be.
Yeah,
And
and
and I,
it's,
and I think
yeah,
that's kind of like a key. Sorry, say, yeah, go for it.
yeah. I was going to say it's it's making those improvements
Yeah.
for yourself, and life can be long if you think of all the time you have to make improvements for yourself.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and it's most of the time how you're going to react in the face of challenges,
Mm-hmm.
in the face of ridicule or others talking about you or
Yeah.
saying things about you.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that at work with your superiors,
Mm.
even with because I think everybody experiences these challenges.
Yeah. That's right.
And when you realize you're not alone,
Yeah.
you thought you're alone. Now
Yeah.
you you experience the same things that others experience, but
Yeah.
why do some people get it easier to move past those obstacles?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have to create the right habits um, to get past those challenges quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And like another friend of mine is loves saying he when he encounters something negatives, he likes to flip the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think of flipping something, it's very quick.
Yeah.
You take it like flipping a coin. It's
Yeah.
quick. You flip it to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So what is intentionally negative that can draw you down, you can flip around.
Mm-hmm.
See the positive outcome of that, because now you need to react. So what are you going to do? And if you got good habits to react to negative things,
Yeah.
you're easier and quicker on the road to where you need to be and where you want to be.
Yeah.
And I guess we pull other people along without us knowing, and it's sometimes better without us intentionally doing that. Um, if you're in leadership or you leading a team or you're leading other people for a successful project or an outcome, then it's better to do it not thinking about every step, but knowing you're doing the right thing and you're guiding people along
Mm.
for that
Mm.
combined outcome that you want. And I think that requires habits, because if you don't think about it too much, it must just be a habit you do.
Yeah. That's it.
And
Mm.
I think in the beginning I said that split second that you know the action you're about to do based on that habit,
Mm.
it's already in a split second, you know, it's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not even thinking too much about it. You just
Yeah.
doing it, and laughing is a good example.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that contagious ability. Now, I don't say everyone's the same. We all got friends where if they start laughing, there's nobody who can just watch and stare. Everybody joins in.
That's it. That's it.
You know, you don't even know what the joke is,
Yes, sir.
but the laugh alone makes you want to laugh,
That's it.
and that
That's it. Absolutely.
and that's a good feeling, I think, for everybody. You know,
Yeah.
and sometimes you only hear afterwards, "Oh, was that the joke?"
Was that the joke? Why were you laughing? I don't know. I just. That's good. That's good. That's really amazing. I love the part where you were mentioning about um, sometimes we think that we are the only ones that go through a certain thing, and especially as men, we suffer in silence. We think that all these other guys are having it easy, but me, why is my life like this? But in the meantime, you don't even know what other guys are going through. And if sometimes when you just have the courage to have a conversation with another guy, you will realize, oh my goodness, I'm okay, man. I'm not that It's not that bad for me. Because we think sometimes we are as men, because men is kind of like, no, I got this. No, don't worry, bro. I got this covered. and we kind of like play strong, but in the meantime, things are crumbling, is falling apart, because sometimes we are just too proud to to ask for help, and to and to ask for advice, or to say, bro, you know what, I'm going through this challenge. Do you have any word of encouragement? Do you have any ideas maybe how I can overcome this? Because at the end of the day, there are certain things that you have gone through, which I'm going through now, and I think I'm the only one that is experiencing this, which is a life from the pit of hell. um, and I think that's why it's important for us, especially in this kind of a forum where there is, I would like to believe that where there is trust, where there is transparency, where there's safety. You can talk about things that you are going through. If we are not there right now, that's where we ultimately want to be. Where we ultimately That's where we want to get to. That's why it is a closed group. That's why we encourage one another to come on here and just and tell your story, because your story carries weight. Your story is valuable. It is a blessing to somebody. But the fact that I'm holding back, I might not have the courage right now to open my mouth and say, all right, guys, this is what I've been going through. I've been married for 54 years, but for the last 30 years, my marriage has been dead. And I've been wanting to leave, and I wanted to go and look for some fresh meat. And I was saying, Lord, I don't care. I'm going to get my. And these are the kind of things that men are going through. These are the kind of challenges that men are going through. These are, when you feel like you have no control over your children. You feel like they, especially when they reach a certain age, they just do whatever they want to do. And we think we are the only ones that are going through it. When you feel like you're looking at your money, I'm working so hard, but why is my bank account looking like the way it's looking? It's like, no, somebody is stealing my zak, bruh. No, 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 no. You just don't know how to deal with it properly. And there are some guys on here that can help you with that. But the thing is, we feel like we can do life all by ourselves. And the truth of the matter is, life is not designed for you and I to do it by ourselves. It is set up in such a way that you need what I have and I need what you have. But if we as men, if we can just come to our senses and just say, all right, I'm going to be courageous enough, and I'm going to pick up the phone, I'm going to call Mr. Jordan and say, bro, let's go for a cup of coffee because I've got to talk to somebody. And when we get to a place where we can do that, it's gonna be something that it's gonna be life changing for us, because
Yeah.
the answers are already there. But sometimes we try to dig for the answers in our head. We know where we want to go. You know that you need to go for reverse engineering and kind of like, all right, this is where I want to go. I know what I need to do because I can have a clear picture where I'm looking to go, but I'm too proud. I've got some pride, and the Bible even says that before the fall, pride comes before a fall. So gentlemen, this is something that I really hope that we can overcome this, because I believe that our breakthrough sometimes just is in the mouth of somebody else. And if we so you are sitting, oh man, you are sitting with somebody else's breakthrough in your mouth. When you come on here and you just decide just to talk, just tell us your story, you don't even know whose life you will change. So once again, I want to encourage you, jump on
Amen.
here and come and join us, um, because somebody's life will be changed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it felt like I went on a ranting there. Did I rant?
No. That's absolutely. I thought you're wrapping up now, but
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. Go for it, sir.
yeah. I think absolutely what you said there is so true, because even in our projects we work on, there's never things that run smoothly, because we're dealing with things over time.
Yeah.
many times you have to go away, think about it, and come back
Yeah.
and reset, readjust. And even when we speak to people, we might not be prepared, but we have to say something,
Mm.
isn't it? And
Yeah.
you can always come back and reinforce what you've said or clarify in a
Yeah.
bit more detail. But I think if we hold back, we can easily find we don't reach out as men, and others might do the same, and then
Yeah.
you never get that conversation.
That's right. That's right.
And you can be sharpened as well for the
Yeah.
response you get.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then the recordings, even we do, who knows whose lives will be changed,
Yeah.
even if we not even around, or others might continue with this
Yeah.
effort. That, but the message will get through,
That's it. That's it.
and you might not even know who receives the message or
Hmm.
what that does for that person. And that for me is the amazing thing, that if we can do this with the habits of
Hmm.
doing the right thing and cultivating those habits, then
Hmm.
we don't even need to know what the end is for someone else,
Hmm.
but the change will bring that end in mind for them
Yeah.
that they need and that they've always wanted and planned for.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so I think it's important we sharpen one another and we come together
Hmm.
in a way we can make some time and support
That's right.
each other, and even those we don't even see face to face,
Absolutely.
or haven't even met yet. So
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, gentlemen, there you've got it. We are at the top of the hour, and that's all we've got for this evening. Um, but listen here, let's continue to work on these habits. Do that reverse engineering. Be clear on what it is you're after. Know where it is you are going. Have a clear picture, and then you come back, and then you create those habits that will bring you to that place of excellence. All right. We're looking forward to hang out with you guys once again. Have an amazing week. Sir, thank you so much for joining. It was good
thank
having you
you.
on. I love to the family. And I am looking forward to see you guys next week. All right. Have an amazing one.
And thanks so much.
That's it.
Thanks everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.